Next on WTV, a popular Netflix show engages many. We dive into a story about teen pregnancy, Toyota Stadium undergoes construction, and a club on campus relies on logical thinking skills. WTV's Daily Update starts right now. Good morning, Red Hawk Nation. Today's Thursday, May 25th, and this is Maddie Owens here with another daily update brought to you by Wingspan TV. The Netflix show 13 Reasons Why has captured media attention around the U.S. with its main theme about suicide, and it's getting attention from various school districts, including Frisco ISD. WTV's Justice Starks has more.
Hannah, I'm not going. Not now. Not ever.
Why didn't you say this to me when I was alive?
Concerned schools across the nation are warning parents of this TV show, warning parents of the effects it may have on students. In an email sent home recently to some parents in the district, Frisco ISD said, "While the TV show is rated teen mature, we have heard several of our students discussing it recently, and just wanted to make our families aware that this may contain very sensitive content for this age group, not only about suicide, yet also sexual assault." For psychology teacher Emily Griffin, this show is more about suicide awareness than anything else.
I don't think it glorifies suicide. I think it brings awareness. So I think it's good to know that it can happen, and this is why you should treat people nicely and do things like that. I think it can make teenagers aware of their actions because they usually sometimes think, oh, I'm invincible, I can do whatever, but you can't, and there are consequences to your actions. And so it's good to show that, and I'm glad teenagers are learning from that.
With the show targeted towards teens, the age group most commonly linked to suicide attempts according to CDC.gov, with suicide being the second leading cause of death for ages 15 to 34 as of 2015, there are some issues with the show's message that are being addressed.
Awareness is very important, but it's also important to remember that suicide is final. And that it's not something to be romanticized. But it's also really important that everyone's understanding that this is a TV show. It's made by Hollywood, and it's not an accurate representation of all of the parts of a person and what happens when someone commits suicide.
For those struggling with suicide, there are places that offer help, including the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255 or Suicide Crisis Hotline of North Texas at 1-214-828-1000. Reporting for WTV, I'm Justice Starks.
According to advocatesforyouth.org, 46% of all high school age students are sexually active, with approximately 2.5% of all teenage girls getting pregnant. For one student on campus, those statistics are more than just numbers. They're a reality. In the blink of an eye, senior Emma Montez's life was turned upside down. An event typically reserved for adults made a surprise appearance in 17-year-old Montez's life.
I didn't even know I was pregnant at all.
So how far into your pregnancy?
I was 4 months pregnant. I was 16 weeks whenever I first went and got my first checkup. Had no idea. Kind of ironically, my mom was the one who got me to take the pregnancy test. She thought I looked different.
I don't know. I just knew. Just could tell that something was different. Yeah. And it was so hard. I didn't want to be right. Mm-hmm. I so did not want to be right. Because so when she took the first one, she came out and she told me, then I kind of was relieved. But I was like, you know what? You're doing the second one. Yeah. And she did. And my heart dropped.
I was a little bit devastated. I was really shocked. I didn't know how to take it in a way. I knew right then and there, though, that, I knew who, the father was, and I knew, all right, we have to figure something out.
Montez knew that she needed to go to a doctor as soon as possible to see how far along she was.
Comes to find out I was 16 weeks pregnant. Sonogram pictures were already showing the gender, everything like that.
Her pregnancy confirmed, her doctor gave her advice about her choices.
But you need to go home, write out adoption, keeping, and abortion, and write out the pros and cons for every single one. As soon as I started writing my abortion, I could just write cons for every single one.
Faced with a decision that could impact Emma for decades to come, there was one thing she didn't want to do.
Because I don't think people realize how much emotional damage it actually takes on a person. A lot of people think, well, it's just cells, but then you think, but then later on you're gonna regret it because you're gonna think, wow, that could have been a human being that could have done great things. And I'm not bashing anybody who's done it. Just personally for me, it has a lot of cons for me.
With abortion not an option for Emma, she moved on to the idea of adoption, with her prospective family already in mind.
That helped the whole process tremendously. It seemed like it was meant to be. Everything just fell.
It clicked, yeah.
It clicked, so it seemed, to me, that made it a lot easier.
Me and the father, we came up with the name Noah, and we ran it by his adoptive mom, and they go, oh my goodness, that's the #1 name on our list.
Emma often reflects on the decisions she made, comfortable that she made the best choice for Noah.
So basically, some days I'll be like, I made the worst decision of my whole life, and some days I'll be like, this was the best, like for not only myself, but definitely for my son. Like that was my main thing, was it was good for him.
Teen pregnancies often have an impact that reaches far beyond the couple, with each member of the Montes family affected in different ways.
This adoption, something that is very painful, and it really has hit me hard because it's a very damaging thing. Like, you know, you love somebody so much, and then all of a sudden you just kind of gotta let them go. I've only met my son for probably a week, and that's about as much as I know of his personality, anything. And most of that was he was in the hospital on a ventilator.
It was hard because we were trying to keep everything so secretive. I will tell you that was the hardest part.
Yeah, probably.
Living a lie.
Well, I would say I never worried about all that. To me, it was worrying about her and how it affected her down the road. And I don't worry about what other people think, honestly, because we all have our life experience.
Emma's support team extended beyond her family tree.
The number of kids and parents who just loved on her during the summer, that was great.
Yeah.
Once we decided to be open and honest, it got a lot easier.
Over the years, shows on MTV have put teen pregnancy in the spotlight. There's debate as to whether or not such shows glamorize teen pregnancy, but according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the teen birth rate has declined almost continuously over the past 20 years. But less talked about is the decision made by Emma.
I don't think people understand that the reason I did adoption is because it's the fact that I love my son so much that I would hurt myself to make sure he's okay. Yeah. Because I never want him to want anything. I never want him to worry about, oh, when can my mom buy my next meal? Or, you know, I never want to have that because that's what it would end up being because I'm only 18.
Her caseworker told us, we don't see girls in high school make this decision. And I said, really? And she's like, no, they're usually older, more mature. And the fact that she was able or just has the wherewithal to do that, I am so proud of her.
It's going to sound strange probably, but we're proud of her. You know, I think sometimes parents will tend to, it can strain. But I mean, in the end, we are proud of her. I mean, obviously, we're not proud of what happened, but in the end, we're proud of the maturity she showed beyond that.
For many moms, giving up their child for adoption means a lifetime apart, but not so for Emma.
He has a picture of me and our family picture next to his bed, and she tells him every night how much I love him and stuff. So, you know, I'm really hoping that we're gonna go far with this relationship of with him because that's what I want, and I'm hoping that once he gets older, that's what he's going to want to, and that he's going to be curious about where I come from and my story and stuff like that.
It's a story that often goes untold in Frisco, but it's one the Montes family wants to share.
I'm speaking from a mom's point of view right now, not her mom, but a mom. When you make that decision, when you put your child above you, that is the #1 thing that makes a mom a mom. We're not an anomaly here in Frisco. The statistics don't back us. And I feel sorry for people who have to live in that shame and silence all by themselves. And
Same.
that's heartbreaking to me. So I hope if anybody sees this and they're going through their struggles, whatever decision they chose, that they find the help that they need so that they can be loved because they deserve it.
Construction has already started on a major renovation to Toyota Stadium. WTV's Vivek Sundaraman has the details.
Toyota Stadium is undergoing a $39 million renovation, with Frisco ISD being one of the programs funding this project. The National Soccer Hall of Fame will be the biggest change in this project, which is scheduled to open in 2018. Already in place are the 2 high-definition video boards and a new audio system. On the south end of the stadium, 2 new 100-person locker rooms are being added, as well as a media center and an FC Dallas team store. Space is also being made for the new Winners Club, which will be replacing the River Club and will create a more fan-friendly experience. The club will feature a more light and airy space as well as a VIP concession stand. The renovations are hoping to attract soccer fans from across the country, as it will host many games for the NCAA and Major League Soccer. Reporting for Wingspan TV, I'm Vivek Sundaraman.
One club on campus puts all their cards on the table when it comes to creativity. WTV's Caitlin Kleibert has more on the story.
For many students, playing board games is a typical night at home with the family. But for 10th grader George Rao, designing board games is a way to give back to the school while doing something he's passionate about.
I created this club because I'm really passionate about strategy, and everyone loves board games, and I thought it would be great to create a club where you could create your own board game, and it'll be really interesting.
Some original board games include becoming a YouTube star by moving your character around the board while doing YouTube charades and collecting advertising licenses. Another original involves building walls with Legos on graph paper to breach defenses and capture enemy castles.
My hope for this club is that it will become a mid-sized club in the school. We have maybe 20 to 30 members, and then every year we can do an event where we go somewhere and play our original games with the people at whatever place.
Some members of the club believe that this club provides them an outlet to learn new things while socializing with their friends.
I joined this club because it was just made and a lot of friends were joining, and I thought I could sort of learn something about the design of games. I've learned a bit about Chinese culture and about the design of board games, and I've been able to reconnect with friends.
Well, I've learned to create strategy games while also socializing with other people. I've met a lot of new people at this club, and I'm happy that I joined this club because of that.
I'm Caitlin Kleibert reporting for WTV.
If you're looking for more from Wingspan, you can follow us at Liberty Wingspan on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or visit our award-winning website, libertywingspan.com. Please stay tuned for today's announcements. Liberty PTSA is challenging students to write about teachers and staff members that have positively impacted their lives. Each entry counts as 1 FISD volunteer hour. Entries must be emailed to libertyhsptsa@gmail.com by May 31st. Graduation rehearsal is Thursday, June 1st after school. The last day of school is June 2nd. If you have not gotten your cap and gown for graduation yet, please see Ms. Marr in the front office if you plan to participate in our commencement ceremony on June 3rd. Class of 2017 graduation is June 3rd at the Dr. Pepper Arena at 1:30 p.m. That's it for today's Daily Update. This has been Maddie Owens for WTV.